today, joined once again with Miles Budimir, our senior editor for Motion Control, and Natasha Townsend, our associate editor for Electrical Engineering. We're here at the final day, day 3 of NI Week in beautiful and very hot Austin, Texas. Now, although Monday was the day that NI really positioned as the academic day, there seemed like there was a lot of great educational things that we learned today. One of the things that struck me at this morning's keynote address, there was a lot of examples of different universities who have really used NI products to make a difference. The University of Leeds in the UK was the first one they talked about. They're doing a lot of work with children who have cerebral palsy using NI products, using LabVIEW to figure out how to better do rehabilitation with these children. Another real interesting case study was the University of Manchester, also in the UK, and there they do testing of the students to see how well they are doing. How, have the students rate the different the different engineering departments and classes, and they had finished 34th out of 36 in the UK for universities as recently as 2009. So then they implemented doing a lot more hands-on work with their engineering students, using some NI products, and the jump was just amazing. I mean, they jumped in 1 year from 34th to number 1, and the last 2 years they've been at number 1. So that was very interesting just to see how much students really react to, as opposed to just working with formulas and in a kind of high-level engineering, to really let them do some hands-on stuff. Yeah. And then the other one was interesting too. Olin College in Massachusetts, they talked about how they have developed this sailbot, which is kind of a robotic sailboat that's totally, doesn't have anyone on it. It's totally robotic and figures out the wind and all the different parameters and sails itself. I had a great meeting today too with a gentleman named Shekhar Sharad, who is in charge of academic marketing at NI, and they've unveiled these things they're called mini systems. And what these are is they're really trying to get kids. They're trying to keep kids excited in engineering, and it's the same kind of thing where they talk about the children get so excited. Everyone wants to be an astronaut. Everyone wants to be a airplane pilot and to do great engineering things or really technological things with their lives. And then we kind of hit them over the head with all this formula stuff and calculus, and they don't really see the end result. So NI is doing a lot where they're trying to make these little modules that will be on the order of $100 each. They're actually available already through NI distributors. One of them was a dynamometer, one of them was a shake table. So they're trying to get these where they're going to sell them to the universities and really let, again, hands-on seems to be the key here. Let the kids do more hands-on things. Miles, what really struck you about today? Why don't you give us a little overview?
All right. Well, I think what struck me today was the second part of the keynote, which was delivered by Dr. Tom Kerfis of the White House Office of Science and Technology. And he really kind of spelled out, I thought, very, very well, the importance of manufacturing, and how all too often we hear in these kind of rhetorical debates how manufacturing is dead. We don't make anything here anymore. And I mean, I think he did a pretty good job showing that we make plenty of stuff here still, and that there's still plenty of opportunity going forward to also make things really. But he also pointed out how critical of a role the government plays in R&D, for instance. And I mean that's been a traditional role of government anyway, partly because especially going back to the 40s and 50s at least, you had the government would subsidize a lot of R&D only because private industry, private business, either it was too costly, either it was too risky. So they didn't want to take it on. So basically, you had different government agencies, like NASA, for instance, doing just a ton of research, and then the end result of those research efforts going down, filtering down into private industry, private companies, and so forth. And just a couple of examples: the aerospace industry, the computer industry, semiconductor manufacturing, GPS. I mean, all of those are developments that the government had a huge role in bringing to market. And these are things that we all take for granted today. Literally, we don't even think about where they came from or anything like that. But I thought he did a really good job kind of tying together how you really need all all of these components, all these sectors working together, basically, to strengthen our manufacturing base, and, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what really kind of struck me today was that.
Great. So. And then, Natasha, I know you sat in on some of the technical sessions today, probably dealing with, I'm guessing, Compact Rio and LabVIEW. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. What I got out of day 3 of NI Week was I went to a lot of seminars. I went to 3, actually, and how to implement LabVIEW into DC motor controls, which is power electronics, measuring power, and LabVIEW scripting. The thing that they talked about most in part is at the keynote, they talked about STEM and STEM education, and part of educating in STEM is continuing education. So it was imperative that they gave these seminars and educational classes for even the engineers and the scientists that are here at the event this whole week. So what I got out of the intro to power electronics for the DC motor controls is H-bridge analog circuit design on multi-sim, and they did performance validation using co-simulation and FPGA code compliance on real targets, and rapid prototyping of custom daughter board. They also went into how to measure the power and power quantity with LabVIEW. They showed how they took a wire out of a grid power outlet strip. They used the power outlet strip as the grid. And for their hardware, they used the Compact Rio components. And they have a LabVIEW electrical power suite that can be bought in addition to the LabVIEW basic package. And then what they showed was the ability to go into the code and add or delete and specify your specific code for the user to work on their own designs. So if you have a design and you want to tweak your design, you can go in and change the code. Same thing with the intro to LabVIEW scripting. The presenter showed, and he's actually a technical specialist, so if you were to ever call NI LabVIEW, that would probably, he is one of the guys that you'll talk to, so he was quite well-versed in scripting. And so what he had done is just gone through little tricks and techniques on how to use the scripting on their platform, how to, they did the example of scripting with the DAQs, and they did a quick drop, shortcuts, and VI analyzers. And so it was quite informative, and I loved it because as an engineer, you do always need to be updated on the current technologies. That's what I got out of NI Week Day 3. So it went well with the presentation this morning, the keynotes.
Well, thank you, Natasha, and thank you as well, Miles. Thanks for the whole week we spent here. Hopefully you found these videos informative, and if you have not been to NI Week, hopefully we've encouraged you to come next year. Next year, I believe it's going to be, I think it's the 6th through 8th, they said this morning, so mark your calendars now. Once again, I'm Paul Heney with Design World, and thanks for watching.